On the Channel 3 News this morning, up in arms. Gun dealers react to the president's plan to cut down on gun violence.
Sweeping the state, a major drug roundup in southern Vermont sends almost 50 suspected dealers away in handcuffs.
And Under Pace, a popular adult day services program, is closing its doors due to budget problems.
From WCAX, Vermont's most trusted news source, this is the Channel 3 News.
Good morning, it's 5 o'clock. I'm Steve Otari.
I'm Molly Smith.
And I'm Gary Sadowski. Well, we got a little bit of snow yesterday, and today, well, we're starting out mild. 31 is our current temperature, and we've got mostly cloudy skies. But here comes the Arctic blast. That's going to be our high for the day. We're going to get a few snow showers, a couple of snow squalls possible during the morning hours, and then temperatures drop like a rock throughout the day as we clear out. Yeah, it's going to be one of those chilly days out there. Be careful, morning drive could be a little slick with those snow showers and squalls coming through right about that time.
We all miss these cold temps. So glad they're back.
Speak for yourself.
The president unveiled his sweeping effort to stop gun violence.
Many of Obama's ideas regarding new gun laws will require action from Congress, but some steps the president is taking on his own. Danielle Nottingham reports from Washington.
With a stroke of a pen, President Obama signed 23 executive orders combating gun violence. One directs the Center for Disease Control to study gun violence. Another helps young people get mental health treatment.
If there's even one life that can be saved, then we've got an obligation to try.
The president called for a ban on assault weapons and ammunition magazines with more than 10 rounds. He also wants background checks for everyone buying a gun.
And I'm calling on Congress to pass some very specific proposals right away.
Children who wrote the president after the Connecticut shooting were in the audience for the announcement. And so was Annette Nance Holt, whose son Blair was gunned down on a Chicago city bus.
I used to always tell Blair, do good, and today the president did that.
The president said change will not happen without help from the public. He urged gun owners to pressure the NRA and their lawmakers to support new gun laws. Jane Weaver represents the Second Amendment Sisters. She says new laws are a knee-jerk reaction.
Let's pass a regulation and then everybody feels better.
The NRA says it will fight most of the president's proposals, but there is common ground when it comes to expanding background checks.
Background checks at the gun shows. And that, as I say, was something that we discussed with ATF years ago and said we didn't have a problem with that.
Several Republican lawmakers released statements saying they will oppose any new gun laws. Danielle Nottingham, CBS News, the White House.
Gun dealers and gun owners in our region are questioning the president's plan. At Barrow's Trading Post in Quechee, gun sales have jumped since the Newtown tragedy. Gun supporters say the president's plans infringe on rights, but won't stop somebody bent on killing someone else from doing it.
And every video game is a shoot-'em-up thing, you know, and all the movies these days are all violent. I think that's got more to do with it than the size of a magazine or an automatic weapon.
It's just a matter of politicians getting people off the phone and saying we've done something. That's basically all they're doing.
Senator Patrick Leahy announced the Senate Judiciary Committee will begin hearings on new gun laws in 2 weeks.
Mental health professionals are raising concerns about parts of New York's newest gun laws. This week, the Empire State became the first to enact new laws in the wake of the Connecticut school massacre. Now, New York will require mental health professionals to report patients to police if they threaten themselves or others. The Howard Center's medical director says providers already have tools to handle situations like that, and that this new law will only increase the stigma of mental illness.
In terms of taking this subgroup of the population that really is only at slightly more risk of violent behavior and sort of targeting them. Why didn't the governor target people who get drunk? That is a pretty significant risk factor to dangerousness.
Dr. Steingard is also worried patients in New York will not seek treatment because they are worried doctors will not honor their confidentiality.
A burglar stole a semi-automatic gun from a Rutland County Sheriff's deputy. Troopers say Tuesday afternoon, a gun like this one, along with cash, credit cards, and checks from a safe, were taken from the deputy's home in Clarendon. Police say the deputy did nothing wrong and the weapon was properly stored.
In this case, it was locked up in a gun locker. I mean, you can't get any safer than that. You know, and if this burglary was a burglary of the house next door and a gun got stolen, it wouldn't meet the criteria to have everybody all up in arms about it.
State police are investigating the case. The sheriff says there are no plans to change policies on how officers store their guns at home. The legal saga over Vermont Yankee took another twist as an anti-nuclear group petitioned Vermont Supreme Court to shut down the plant for operating without a license. The group New England Coalition argued to the 5-judge panel that Vermont Yankee's certificate of public good expired last March. The Public Service Board hasn't renewed the plant certificate, and the state law says it can't operate without it and must close. But Entergy's lawyer says that Yankee is still operating because of a federal judge's ruling that prohibits the state from shutting down the plant before the federal case finishes.
There's a possibility for an unseemly confrontation here between the great courts of the state and the federal court.
The only way for the state of Vermont to exercise any meaningful control over this corporate citizen is for this court to act, and to act promptly.
There's no timetable on when Vermont Supreme Court will rule on this issue. Hearings by the Public Service Board on the plant certificate are not scheduled until this summer. This case comes just 2 days after Entergy fought a separate legal battle against the state of Vermont over the constitutional rights of Vermont Yankee and whether Vermont lawmakers violated the plant's rights by considering safety when voting not to extend its operating license.
We saw a little bit of snow yesterday, enough to coat the ground around here.
Not that much here in the Burlington area. A lot of it melted. You know, it stuck to the grassy areas, but on the roads it was kind of melting away. But down south we did get a couple of inches of snow, so we're starting to make a little bit of a comeback. And we're expecting a little bit of snow today, but more in the way of cold air coming in. Right now, starting out not too bad, 31 degrees, our current temperature here in Burlington, mostly cloudy skies. But temperatures are going to be falling throughout the day after this cold front comes through, and that's going to be in the next few hours. And we're going to see that accompanied by snow showers and some of those heavy.
If you missed the cold these last couple of days, and especially over the weekend we had when it warmed up into the 50s, don't worry. Yeah, it's back.
It's coming back. In fact, we're starting out mild this morning, but this might be the warmest temperature we're going to see for some time now. And temperatures are going to be falling. We have one of those cold Arctic fronts coming our way, and that is going to be chilling us down. Temperatures, instead of going up today, are going to be going down. Those low temperatures, a lot of us, right near zero or a little bit below. Yeah, this is more typical January weather, not this 40, 50-degree weather we had last weekend.
Man. Well, check your car battery. It's that kind of dropping temperatures that can be a real pain. All right, thanks, Gary. Coming up, rescuers make a fatal find of a snowmobiler who fell through the ice.
And they were warning it's going to happen. Now it has, and it's leaving hundreds of thousands of kids stranded trying to find a way to get to school. Northeast News is next. A lot of aging Vermonters face a choice: go to a nursing facility or get into a program that provides those services at home. PACE has been a popular option in 2 Vermont communities until now. The provider is closing its doors. Business reporter Gina Bullard sat down with the company to find out why.
Louise Frances Diamond is a cowgirl.
That's right, you know it.
An independent woman who'd rather be riding a horse, but instead she's battling a serious health issue.
My spine basically is collapsing, and I've gone from 5'3" to 4'11 and a half.
But Louise doesn't want to go into a nursing home. That's why she's a participant in PACE, a program that helps seniors in Rutland and Colchester maintain their independence. PACE provides everything from housekeeping and personal care to medical services at people's homes or in its day facilities.
It is a capitated program, so we are paid by Medicaid and Medicare, and it's a per member per month payment.
PACE has 88 successful programs in 29 states, but no longer in Vermont. On March 31st, it will close both its Rutland and Colchester facilities. That means 140 participants will need to find other care, and 80 employees will be laid off.
I just feel like I'm sad. I'm very sad.
Is PACE needed in Vermont? Yes. Is the model financially viable? It seems not so.
Pace says it's been struggling financially for years. That's because it says Vermont's Medicaid reimbursement rate is lower than other states. And the majority of participants signing on to the program lately are sicker and need more costly services.
When people chose to go to PACE, it was really, they were choosing to go when they were very sick, and so they were using a lot of resources. We didn't have that spread of acuity that you need to keep a capitated program running.
I was shocked, really.
I was incapacitated.
Susan Brizzi's 82-year-old dad, Ralph, was one of PACE's first participants after he suffered a stroke and needed a variety of services. He was able to live more independently with the support PACE provided.
They've kept him healthy. He's never been back to the hospital. He's never been to the emergency room. He never went to a nursing home.
But now Ralph is in a nursing home due to PACE's impending closure. Cowgirl Louise hopes to find a program similar to PACE so she can keep her independence and remain at home.
If I can, I want to maintain as much independence as possible. I think everybody wants that.
Gina Bullard, Channel 3 News, Colchester.
The body of a snowmobiler who fell through the ice in Messina has been recovered. 43-year-old John Favreau went through the ice while fishing Monday on the Grass River. Police say the Messina man broke through the ice in a spot where it was just 4 inches thick. Earlier in the week, they said it was looking likely, and now it's happened. Some 8,000 New York City bus drivers have gone on strike, leaving 150,000 students without a ride to school. Parents were forced to find other ways to get their kids to class, many having to use the subways or public buses to get there. The drivers' union says they'll stay on strike as long as it takes to get the employment benefits they say they've earned. The city says legally it cannot meet the demands the union wants. New York City spends nearly $7,000 per student for buses, more than double any place else in the country. Efforts are underway to make sure family septic systems do not leak into Lake George. Town officials say they are leaking septic systems in the Diamond Point area along streams and the shoreline. They want to pinpoint which septic systems are failing and possibly polluting Lake George. One possible plan is to have a town worker go door to door to gather information about septic systems and register them. Then the town could hold appropriate property owners accountable for fixing those systems.
All right, up next, we open up the Channel 3 News Vault and head behind bars.
Plus, coming up in a little bit, more than 100 officers carrying out one of the biggest drug sweeps in state history. In this morning's News Vault, we're headed behind bars, taking a tour of what many would hope would be their last time in the big house.
Boy, this is a little close quarters, huh?
The construction of the Southern State Correctional Facility in Springfield was a hotly debated issue in that region for many years. And on this day in 2003, the structure was nearing completion. Project managers invited the public to see the new building for themselves before the prisoners arrived. It had 350 beds and more than 100 cameras inside. Many in attendance joked that during the tour, they hoped this was their first and hopefully last time inside a prison. And incidentally, with the closing of the state hospital, there are now some inmates from the state hospital being housed in that same facility.
Very interesting.
I'm guessing they probably didn't plan for that when they built it in 03.
Right, and hope to get out quickly.
Very quickly.
Well, yesterday we finally got a little bit of snow going here. And as far as temperatures go, well, 31 for a high, 27 for a low. So we're still been running above average with those temperatures. And that's about to change, but let's just look at that for a while.
It's nice to look at.
And as far as the snowfall here in Burlington, 1.8 inches of snow. And so for the month, 7.3, we're still down by about 3.5 inches. So we have some making up to do. We'll get a little bit today, and over the weekend we're expecting a little bit of snow too, but it's mainly going to be the cold. That's going to be the big difference over the next few days for the season. Still running above average by 7.5 inches. Yeah. Okay, let's go back to yesterday and see just how much snow fell. We did get some respectable amounts, mainly in our southern areas. Marlboro did get half a foot of snow out of that. Bellows Falls, 5 inches. North Danville was 4. Bristol, 3. Same at Barrie. And, of course, here in Burlington, just a little less than 2 inches of snow.
We had a wimpy snowfall.
We really did. And a lot of it, you know, we were right near the freezing mark, and, you know, it stuck to the grassy areas. But the streets pretty much melted away, and officially, we still have no snowpack. It's 0.
0 snowpack.
So even though we got just about 2 inches of snow, it didn't stay really. It's a little bit, but that's about it. But we have some more snow on the way. You can see it coming at us right now from the north and the west. And this is one of these sharp cold fronts that's really going to bring a change in our temperatures. We're going to get some snow showers and squalls out of this as that comes through in the next couple of hours. Ahead of the front, temperatures into the mid to upper 20s. Got some low 30s, 34 at Plattsburgh right now, but 19 Ottawa and North Bay, Ontario, 11 degrees below 0. You can get an idea of what's coming our way.
It's coming for us, Gary.
Temperatures are going to tank as we go through the day. Right now, we're fairly mild. We're at 31 degrees. Skies are mostly cloudy, but expect those snow showers and squalls just about the time you head out for work or school, so take it easy. And then temperatures drop like a rock throughout the day as we clear out the skies, and we're going to end up below 0 tonight.
Oh, boy, it's a cold snap coming just like that, Gary. Just like that, Steve.
Yeah, and it was just enough to cover the lawns, too. I noticed this morning. You know, yesterday it was green or before the snow started, and now obviously not.
Coming up next, we'll get a check on today's headlines, including more than 100 police officers taking down drug dealers in Operation County Strike. The details next.
Our headlines this morning, Operation County Strike. More than 100 cops, close to 50 arrests. We'll tell you what they were after.
Police say someone is shooting at cars on Interstate 89.
And a fire breaks out in New Hampshire's North Country.
But before we get to those stories, Gary's got a quick look outside on what's shaping up to be a chilly day.
It is. Now, we got that snow yesterday, and we're expecting a little bit more snow, and really just in the next couple of hours. But the big news is the Arctic blast that's right on the doorstep. Now, we're still mild at this point, 32 now, in fact, a degree higher than last hour here in the Burlington area. Sky is mostly cloudy, but we're expecting that front to come through with snow showers and some heavier squalls over the next couple of hours, and we'll be clearing out, but temperatures dropping like a rock throughout the day. We're going to be below 0 tonight.
Oh, boy.
Oh, boy.
All right, should be fun. Thanks, Gary. A massive drug sweep in Bennington County on Wednesday, one of the largest roundups ever in Vermont.
Police picked up 47 suspects. Matt Henson was there.
Boom, not going to announce.
After 6 months of preparation, it was time to carry out Operation County Strike, a major drug roundup in the Bennington area.
They're the boyfriend, girlfriend. We're all pretty much familiar with them.
This tactical team was looking for Sean Prouty and Megan Vanderwerken. They are believed to be at a home in Pownell.
What's going through your mind right now? The unknowns. The unknowns. We know what we're going there to arrest the individuals for, but without the, we really don't have a ton of information as to the house that we're going to, so the unknowns is the most.
When police arrive at the home, a tactical team immediately surrounded it in case anything went wrong. An officer then approached the front door and knocked. A woman answered, but she is not who police were looking for.
Family members are telling us that they are in another county right now, so our negotiator is going to try to reach them and see if they can get them to surrender.
The couple agreed to turn themselves in at the Bennington police station. However, not all of the arrest went as planned. There was a brief standoff at a home on Pleasant Street. It ended peacefully. In total, Operation County Strike targeted 63 people suspected of dealing drugs in the region.
Crack, heroin, pills, cocaine, powdered cocaine.
Local authorities say the growing drug problem became too much for them to handle and asked state and federal authorities for help. Investigators decided a massive roundup would be the most effective.
Sometimes when you make a quick arrest, there goes the show, if you will. The show meaning that investigation could end that day. We needed this investigation to continue to make sure that we rounded up as many people as we possibly could.
By the end of the day, most of the suspects were in custody. Police say it was a mix of local dealers and dealers from out of state. Many have been arrested before on drug charges, and the arrests are also expected to impact the growing gang population in the Bennington area.
We will continue to work hard to make sure that we are pushing back and keeping the less than desirables out of our community.
Matt Henson, Channel 3 News, Bennington.
A Vermont man has faced 2 murder convictions, and twice they've been overturned. Prosecutors say they plan to retry 62-year-old Dennis Tribble on a first-degree murder charge. Tribble has not said if he will represent himself or seek a lawyer. He shot and killed his neighbor, Mike Borrello, in North Wolcott 12 years ago. Tribble claims it was self-defense. Juries disagreed. The state's high court says his latest conviction in 2009 should be thrown out because his lawyer presented evidence Tribble did not want introduced that he was mentally ill. Tribble's first conviction was tossed out because he boycotted his trial, and the court said his defense was not adequate. Someone is taking pot shots at cars on Interstate 89. Police say there have been at least 5 victims since Sunday. All the vehicles were headed northbound on the interstate when they were hit just before reaching the Georgia rest area. Investigators believe the shooter may be using a BB or pellet gun. They do not have a motive or a suspect. Luckily, no one has been hurt.
A downtown fire broke out in New Hampshire's North Country overnight. It started around 8 o'clock at the Tri-County Community Action Program on Main Street in Lancaster. Apartments are located upstairs in that building. Main Street was closed for several hours. Firefighters were able to keep the flames from spreading to the Coos County Democrat office, which is located just 2 feet from where the fire first broke out. The extent of the damage is unknown, but no injuries were reported. The cause of that fire is still under investigation. The first legislation that Senator Leahy